Hi, once again. This is Miss Gunner FC, and I just want to give my views on Arsenal and Arteta most likely becoming the new manager. Now, over the last few days or so, there's been a lot of stuff in the media about Arteta becoming Arsenal's manager. Now, I don't know if this is going to happen or not. It could be just hype. It could be that they've got someone else in mind. But it seems as if it might be Arteta. Okay, if that's the case, I just want to give my views on Arteta becoming Arsenal manager. Now, I know there are views out there, Arsenal supporters. Some of them say they don't want Arteta, and there's some that do want him. And I'm actually in two minds about whether I want Arteta or not. Over the last few days or so, I did want Arteta, but now I'm thinking, do I? I'm kind of like in two minds. And the reason why I actually did want Arteta, or I'm still, likely to still want Arteta, is because, look, he's been working over the last few years with one of the best managers in football, which is Pep, right? And he's his number one assistant. I know a lot of Arsenal fans say that, well, all he does is pick up the cones and blah, 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 blah. Of course, he does more than that. I know he gets on really well with the players, and I'm sure he's actually done a couple of things with, in terms of team selection, and he must have learned a lot. There are lots of managers out there who've actually learned from their mentors and have gone on to be good managers. An example is, I think, the current PSG manager, Thomas Tuchel. I think his mentor was Klopp of Liverpool, and he's doing quite well. He's doing quite well at PSG. So, and I really don't think, that it's bad being an assistant and then deciding, that you want to go on your own. Now, the question here is Arsenal the right club for Arteta at this stage of his management career? Because this is going to be a major club, which is, Arsenal is one of the biggest football clubs in the world. Now, do you want to make your mistakes at Arsenal? Because it could be a bridge too far for you. So now I'm sure that's one of the reasons why a lot of Arsenal fans say no, because he's got no credentials behind him, right? So he could be a flop, but at the same time, he could be quite successful because there are a lot of young managers out there that are doing quite well at the moment. You've got Lampard at Chelsea, you've got Gerrard at Rangers, and, they're doing quite well. They're going to have, times when, they're going to lose matches, which is inevitable. But on the whole, their experience doesn't, it's I think it's really boiled down to their passion, the fact that they've been, they've got the enthusiasm for it. So I think that argument then for Arteta, because he's not got any kind of credentials behind him, falls a bit flat because there are other managers doing it. So I don't see why he can't do it, right? But at the same time, with our current crop of Arsenal players, right, it seems as if with Unai Emery, they didn't respect him after a certain stage. And now we've got Ljungberg, and it seems as if maybe they don't respect him as well. Is that because they feel he has no credentials behind him? I don't really understand it. So if Arteta then comes in, what is going to be the Arsenal players' reaction to him knowing that he hasn't got any credentials behind him? Are they going to actually behave the same, or are they going to warm to him? And I would advise Arsenal players, look, you need to give as much of yourself and of your play to this new manager, because at the end of the day, we don't really want the club to go down the pan, right? But is Arteta, does he have the mental strength to be able to deal with the players at Arsenal? And the reason why then I was against Arteta was because I feel at this stage where we are, a lot of the players have lost confidence. It's not that they're not good players; they've lost confidence in their ability to play. Right? They don't believe in themselves, and they need a manager who has that credential behind him to say, "Look, come on, this is the way we're going to play." They need to have a winning mentality, And I think a manager like Ancelotti. I don't understand why a lot of people in the media are saying, oh, Ancelotti is not the right person for Arsenal because he only deals with players who have a winning mentality and who are at the top of their game. I feel that a good manager, wherever you are, wherever you go, you should be able to stamp your style and the way that you play on a team. And I don't see why he can't do that at Arsenal. Now it looks like he's going to go to Everton. Have we missed out on a great opportunity to get a manager to put our team back where we should be? Right? Are we making a mistake if we then get Arteta, who doesn't have any clout behind him? So these are the questions that we need to ask. And at the same time, we need to ask Arteta as well. Why do you want to come and manage Arsenal? Do you think that you're good enough for Arsenal? Don't just come just because you think it's a good opportunity, because we really don't want you to come to Arsenal and mess up the club. We've already let go of Unai Emery. So you need to be sure that you have something to offer Arsenal before you accept that managerial career. Opportunity to come and manage a club as big as Arsenal. And as for the fans, we need to be less fickle. Right? Because if Arteta, let's assume Arteta is the one that's going to come in. Let's assume that he comes in and he wins the first 3 games. Everyone is going to be screaming and saying, yeah, we're going to get top 4. This is the man for the job. He's fantastic, is that. But if, on the other hand, we lose 3 games, everyone is going to be up in arms and start saying, get him out, get him out, get him out. Right? We need to give whoever's going to come in, we need to give them time and space to build, because a lot of the players now in that team, like I said before, they've lost confidence. We need, the new manager needs to build a winning mentality to say, we can do this. We are going to do this. We should not be afraid of any team that comes to the Emirates. And when we go away, we know that we are the best. Right, so we need that kind of manager, and that is going to take time for that manager to instill that into the players. And that means that they're probably going to lose a few matches along the way, but at some point they will get back to where they were. Right, so we as fans, we can't continuously be booing our players on the pitch. How on God's earth is that going to help players who have already lost confidence? So booing them, what does that do? It just makes things worse, right? We need to basically take a step back and understand that we are rebuilding the team. And if we're rebuilding the team, that means we are going to actually lose some matches. But as long as we see progress, then we can be confident. But if you start booing players as soon as we lose a game and picking on individual players, I just think that is out of order. Now, people keep picking on players like Ozil. I don't see why they're doing it. Just because he's being paid a lot more than anyone else. Is that his fault that they paid him so much more money? If you were offered that amount of money, are you going to say, no, I don't want it? Really, it should be the people who offered him that amount of money. But you shouldn't just single-handedly pick on him just because he earns more than everyone else. Right? Everyone on the pitch is playing bad football as well as Ozil. It's not just him. There's some players that are doing a little bit better, but the team as a whole has lost confidence. So if a manager does come, those are the first things that they need to do. They need to basically get that mentality into their heads, a winning mentality, that these footballers are great footballers. You've done it before, you can do it again, and you can be better than you have been. And I think a manager who's got clout, who's got credentials behind him, is probably the most likely person that the team and the players will warm to instantly. A manager like Arteta, I think the players are going to be a bit wary and they're going to kind of just watch and see what he does. So if he's going to come in, he has to hit the ground running. He's got to stamp his authority on the players as soon as he steps into that changing room. Otherwise, the players are just going to react the same way that they have been reacting all along. Right. So I just want to give, this is just my view on, getting a new manager in the club. But whoever it is who comes in, whether it's Arteta or whoever it is, we as fans and supporters, we need to give them, we need to support them. We need to give them time, give them room. And, we should just chill a bit. We should just calm down. And support the club. We should support the club when we're winning and when we're losing. It works both ways. You can't just support the club when we're winning and everything, and the minute we lose a match, everyone is, what kind of relationship is that? So let's support whoever comes in and, give them our support, because the support we give will actually go a long way in giving those players a bit more confidence. So that's all I have to say. I'm done.